19 और 20, माननीय वित्त मंत्री जी।
Thank you, Speaker, sir. We have come up with the first batch of supplementary demands for grants for the year 2022-23. And I'm grateful to all the 60 members, honorable members, who participated in this debate and have actually raised very substantial issues of the supplementary demand for grants. So with your permission, I certainly will address and try to answer questions which have been raised and certainly address the issues which have been concerning the members. So this first set of supplementary demand for grants is coming at a time when the entire world and economies of both the developed and emerging markets are facing severe headwinds. But about how India is positioned in this, I would like to just draw the attention of the House and also quote from the World Bank's report, which covers all the areas of challenges which economies are facing, and therefore it gives a snapshot, a good snapshot of what India is positioned like. And everything that I'm reading are quotes from the World Bank, so there's no paraphrasing here. The government's policy, and this is from, before I start, this is from India Development Update. Navigating the Storm is the name of the report. And this is a report on the Indian economy, which was issued on December 5th, 2022, just a few days ago. So the government's policy, I'm quoting, the government's policy response to the external shock aimed at maintaining macroeconomic stability and protecting vulnerable households has been carefully designed and well targeted, given increasingly limited fiscal space. Like the COVID-19 response, it combined demand and supply side policies. So that's one picture about the macroeconomic situation. The second, despite, quote again, quote again, India's forex reserves above US $500 billion are among the largest holdings of international reserves in the world, and together with net forward assets provide adequate buffer against global spillovers. Then it goes to say, India's economy grew faster than most of the major emerging market economies in Q2, that is, of financial year 2022-23. It grew, of course, this is an addition I want to draw here, it grew more than Brazil, Mexico, China, South Africa, and Thailand. The report also says short-term external debt was 4% of GDP in 21-22, a decline of 1.4 percentage points since 12-13. Since the taper tantrum in 2013, India's forex reserves have almost doubled and provide better coverage of external debt than other emerging market economies. Then it goes to say, India is more resilient relative to the other EMEs, with strong growth, low private sector indebtedness, and high foreign exchange reserves, but with high public debt and a recovering banking sector. The last two quotations from the same report. India's economy is relatively more insulated from global spillovers than other emerging markets. India is less exposed to international trade flows and relies on its large domestic market. India's external position has also improved considerably over the last decade. And the last quote from this World Bank report is, amidst intensifying global headwinds, India is better placed than it has been in the past and compared to its peers to manage external macro financial shocks. So this actually gives a picture of where India is today. And these are after looking into the fundamentals which is prevalent today. And therefore, this particular first batch of supplementary demand for grants is coming in this backdrop. It is coming in this backdrop, which is not claimed by me, but it is a picture which the World Bank has given for us. This supplementary demand for grants includes 75 demands, 6 appropriations, and the out of the cash outgo, which is a total of 3,25,756 crore. The total gross additional expenditure is, of course, 4,35,938 crores. The revenue component of the cash outgo is 2,94,703.86 crores, and 31,052 crores is under capital section. Besides this, we're also coming up with the excess grant demand, which pertains to the 2019-20 for 3 appropriations which had to happen. And this is completely on the recommendation of the PAC, the Public Accounts Committee. And that totals 32,637 crores. So I know quite a few members have gone into the details of what these supplementary demand have been for. I'll just highlight as to how these are demands which are so critical for us now. And I'm sure I didn't hear anybody objecting to any of these supplementary demands. Just to highlight, the fertilizer subsidy that we are demanding as a supplementary is 1,09,288.95 crores. And I want to highlight the fact that India, which is largely an importer of fertilizers, will have to now also start working on self-sufficiency as regards fertilizer manufacturing in this country, and a lot of efforts are going on that score. But even with that being so, both the indigenous manufacturers and suppliers of fertilizers, as much as the imported, do get the subsidy. So this 1,09,000 odd crores are going for indigenous as well as for imported subsidy for both the phosphorus and potassium imports which are happening. Also for urea, both for the import and also for domestic manufacturing. So it's not as if everything which is being given as subsidy is only going for imported variety, but it's also both for the domestic. Food and public distribution gets 80,348. This also is going towards the Garib Kalyan Anna Yojana, and also for the decentralized procurement of food grains under the NFSA. Rural development, normally and largely, many members spoke about why Manrega gets less, why Manrega shouldn't be given more, why Manrega is not being utilized. I would just want to highlight the fact, sir, that while we'll talk about the Manrega in specific, the Manrega component of the supplementary demand for grants is for 16,400, which is the National Employment Guarantee Fund, and grants for creation of capital assets, which is 16,400 under Mahatma Gandhi. So both the wage component and the material component are being given through this 45,177, which we ask from you. So on the petroleum natural gas component of the supplementary demand, which is 24,943, I will spend a few minutes on that because I want to put forth to many members who have been talking about this as to where this money is actually going. It is certainly going to the oil marketing companies to an extent because domestic LPG operations and also for compensating for several of the losses which the OMCs have made. So this money goes to them. But more importantly, a total of about 8,000 crores from this 24,000, which is in this supplementary demand, actually goes for the Ujjwala component, meaning for the LPG supply which is happening for the poorest of the poor under the Ujjwala scheme. Remember, I said it in the budget that for every cylinder, there shall be 200 rupees given for the Ujjwala scheme beneficiaries, because that is the way in which we want to cushion at least somewhat for the price increases. So 8,000 crores, sir, is being given from the BE and from this supplement, total put together 8,000 crore, to take care of the gas price increase, which should not hurt the poor. And therefore, for many of the members who raised voice saying, "Gharib ke liye Ujjwala cylinder de diya, magar daam badh gaye," from budget till today, the 200 rupees per cylinder to the poor is being given, and the total, which is now both BE and here put together. BE, in fact, we had given only about 800 crores. Here, 7,210 crores is being added to it so that the Ujjwala consumers of LPG are given sufficient cushion. So I want that to be taken note of. Railways have been given 12,000 crores. And Railways gets 12,000 because that will meet the capital outlay of railways. And after all, that has to be improved because the infrastructure facility for the railways is a very critical thing for the Aam Janta who move in trains. I am also proposing, which is not a part of this, it might come in the future, but I would like, for the comfort of many of the honorable members who are concerned about railways and work in railways, particularly capital expenditure which is required, this supplementary grant talks for 12,000 crores, but in all probability, what is under consideration is something which I want to put before you, about 10,000 crores over and above this 12,000, which is part of this, is also going for railways for their infrastructure capital expenditure, which is under consideration, almost reaching to the logical conclusion. Transfers to J&K, 8,956. I want this to be reiterated. I want to highlight the fact that for meeting revenue and resource gap, an additional expenditure for Jhelum Tavi flood recovery project, both put together, 8,956 is being given to J&K. This is over and above what we had given for J&K during the BE stage, that is the budget stage. Now we are giving further for J&K by transferring 8,956. Again, over and above the budgeted estimate is 1,400 crores, which is being given to Puducherry for providing additional central assistance to meet the revenue and resource gap. So the supplementary demand for grants is coming up with these, and I'm sure not one member of the parliament, I'm very grateful, has spoken saying you shouldn't be doing this. On the contrary, more is being asked, but certainly we have provided for these, which I want to highlight. So now I go to picking up on the topics on which many members have spoken, other than the contents which have been specified in the supplementary demand for grants statement itself. Members have raised a lot of issues on which I go by issues in which several members may have spoken on a particular issue, but I go by issues so that many members' questions can get answered. So the food and fuel and fertilizer subsidy, there were questions asked. And also drawing from that and also drawing from the fact that the amount which is claimed during the supplementary demand for grants, people felt if B at the time of B you mentioned something, today you're raising so much more. What is the level of assessment then and what is the level of assessment now? How is it going to touch your fiscal deficit commitments that you've given? I want to highlight the fact, sir, that in 2008-9, global financial crisis, there were 2 supplementary demands. The Constitution allows you to do 2, 3, not beyond 3, of course. And during the global financial crisis, which of course then was big, but now looking back with the benefit of hindsight, we are at a pandemic and post-pandemic war-related economy globally affected. During the 2008-9 global financial crisis, through the 2 supplementary demand for grants, 20% more than what was stated in the budget was brought under the supplementary demand. 20% more. So if we are talking about BE time assessment, your assessment is not good enough, you're not able to get a picture, you should have done a better assessment rather than come with a big amount during supplementary. No, budget makers then, now, all look at the avenues of revenue and also the ways in which allocations can be made. And as you go through the year, you are in a position to raise more, bring in more demands, and this is absolutely acceptable in the process of budget making. So there's nothing unusual this year that we've come with a huge demand. 20% of what was, of the original budget was brought in even after 2008-9 crisis. Sorry? Extraordinary, sir. I agree, extraordinary. We can always rank which is even better or worse extraordinary, but anyway. So, global financial crisis. You brought up 2 supplementary demands for grants. 20% of what was given in the budget estimates have been brought as extra supplementary demand. 2020-21, immediately post the pandemic, there were again 2 supplementary demand for grants, and in that 19% more than what was originally budgeted for has been brought in. And now, with this just 1, and possibly there will be 1 more during the budget time and not beyond that, only 8% of the current budgeted estimate is being brought in here. So I want the members to take cognizance of these facts and so, 20% है financial crisis के बाद 20% उनका. So, sir, Oh, extraordinary. अभी pandemic के बाद extraordinary इतना नहीं है. So, sir, revenue position, fiscal room that is available, and also responding to the need are all characters of, or characters which, or features which infuse the confidence with which you come with a supplementary demand. And that is what I am also now hoping, that because of the buoyancy of revenue, the room to operate that I have, and also because I need to respond to situations which are developing in the ground, we are doing this. So I want just this to be kept in mind. So if that is the way it is, the first concern which most members spoke about is about this budgetary problem, coming with a supplementary demand. Will you be able to contain fiscal deficit? So that is the first issue, which beyond that, sir, the issues for which there's been a lot of concern are, of course, inflation, talking about rupee depreciation, unemployment, fishermen, coastal communities, and also about fellowships which are not being given to the minority community. Broadly. But I will go by the issues and... Yes, I'm beginning with it. Sir, In the budget estimate for Manrega, we had given 73,000 crores. Now, with the supplementary demand for grants, we are coming up with 16,400 more. So, 16,400 crores now, sir. Here, there is now very obviously a declining demand for jobs in the rural areas. In the rural areas, the demand for Manrega in the recent past has been coming down. However, 73,000 in the BE and also 16,200 now.
It is not coming down. People are not having the opportunity of doing job.
Manrega is a demand-driven program, sir. Demand-driven. Yeah. And if demand doesn't come, should I read it as it's going up? That's a different issue. I'm answering that also. When demand is demand, I'm talking about demand. When it is not being honored because you have some other issue, I will talk about that as well. But there is a declining trend in the demand-driven. All right. Okay. Sir, I will have to listen to everything that they say, but when I say something, if they have an objection, they can always ask me later. But they can't go on continuously disrupting my answers, sir.
माननीय मंत्री महोदय जब जवाब दे रहे हैं, जब आप बीच में डिस्टरबेंस नहीं करें, आपको पर्याप्त समय पर्याप्त मौका सभी माननीय सदस्य को दिया और माननीय मंत्री महोदय से मेरा आग्रह है, मैंने उनको अलाउ नहीं किया है, आप उनकी बात का जवाब ही नहीं दें, आप तो अपनी बात का जवाब दें, जब मैं कहूं उनको बोलने की जब आप जवाब दें.
Sir, other than the fact that Manrega, we provide this much, we provide that much, concerns have been raised by particularly members coming from West Bengal about how we have not honored their bills. Sir, and Manrega funds to West Bengal has been put on the hold since March 2022 because of complaints which were received from various people. Now, as per the Manrega Act, the central government, upon receiving these complaints, shall keep the release of funds on hold till necessary explanation is received from the concerned state. It's a different story, and I'm not relying on that the newspapers are complaining about misuse and so on. I'm not referring to that. But complaints have received. We've sent it to the state government saying, can you please explain it? The amounts I can read by the states, list of states who have to get their Manrega funds.
Sir, all these issues have been discussed.
I'm coming. I was physically present when Mr. Sudipto Bandyopadhyaya spoke. I've heard every bit of what you've said. Let me answer, sir. Like, I go by your guidance that you have not asked him to speak. So as per Manrega Act, the central government, upon receiving complaints, shall hold the funds from getting released.
All issues have been cleared.
I've not even answered, sir.
Have been cleared already. Now money should go back to the state person.
This is what you said, Honorable Member, when you spoke. I heard you also. Please listen to my reply. Kindly please listen to my reply. I've not completed it.
I am a very good listener of the House. I want to listen to your very.
But you interrupted me already.
No, I am telling you the fact. Minister of the department has given me a separate.
Missing
And you are telling the other thing. That is
Sir, my replies are normally prepared with the concerned department inputs. So if honorable members would kindly wait till I finish, it'll be okay. Drop of a hat? You get up at the drop of a hat, sir. Anyway, sir, So it is held. No, so this is disrespecting, sir. Very. In the case of West Bengal, explanation was sought from the government. The explanation is yet to be received. Explanation from West Bengal government is yet to be received, and therefore what has to be held back is being held back. So that's, I'm putting it on. Sir, Manrega, there are other concerns also. Concerns about no, enough is not being done, enough is not being. I just want to give a comparison between the number of man days which have been created between 2006-07 to 13-14 and between 14-15 to today. Man days created in crores then was 1,660. Now, for the comparable period, it's 2,341. Funds released, therefore, is 2,13,220 crores then. It's 5,76,303 crores now. For the comparable periods, number of completed works, sir, in lakhs. 153 lakhs was completed then, and a comparable period now, it's 602 lakh of works have been completed. Sir? So that's for the Manrega. The lists of how much is pending due to lack of utilization certificate not coming here, I can always provide for whoever member who wishes to have a copy of it. Sir, I would then go to addressing one small issue. There's not much, but it was more for one particular state, but I will nevertheless say it. It is on the GST compensation cess. Particularly, Tamil Nadu raised the issue that 10,000 crores is pending for us. I would like to highlight that the only last week, sir, Tamil Nadu has sent a claim for 4,224 crores, and this is for the year 2020-2021. And that's under examination. The moment that is cleared, the money will be released. It was released only, received only last week. And the AG certified figures for 21-22, which is again the year ended in March 2022, are not yet received from the state. So I do not know where that honorable member from Tamil Nadu had 10,000 crores as claims saying you have not given us. You have given us a claim which is with the AG certificate for the year 2020-2021, which is for 4,224 crore rupees, which was received last week. But no AG certified claim has reached us for the year 21-22, that year ending March 31st, 2022. So 10,000 doesn't even add up. As it is, sir, as it is, state-wise, I just would like to highlight compensation cess. For the period of ending June 2022, Tamil Nadu balanced GST compensation, which is yet to be released, which is whether after we receive from them for 2021-22 only, we have not received yet. For 22, in up to June, where every state would have to get their due, for Tamil Nadu, pending is only 1,200.6148 crore rupees. So first we need AG certificate for the year 21-22. AG certificate के साथ 2021 has been received only last week. And for the month ending June, when the compensation cess comes to an end for all states, Tamil Nadu's due is only 1,200. All put together, it's still not 10,000 crores, sir. I thought I should make that clear. Then there was a lot of concern about fiscal deficit. I certainly want to explain that a bit, sir, because that is a very important issue on which members of parliament will have to be informed. Fiscal deficit was estimated to reduce from 6.9% of GDP in the last year's RE to 6.4% of GDP in the current year's BE. This is very much in line with the government's commitment to achieve fiscal consolidation announced in the budget of 21-22. That is to reduce the fiscal deficit to a reasonable level till 25-26. So on the fiscal deficit, sir, I've given a commitment which was given earlier in the budget, and I repeat that. And the current situation also very clearly gives me that kind of a feeling that we'll be able to comply with what we have said in the budget. Sir, then, Minister, quite a few honorable members raised issue about inflation. There are different points which I want to highlight here. We keep a very close watch, and I just want to highlight the fact prices of pulses, edible oils, vegetables are monitored by an informal group of ministers, and we work together. There is an interministerial committee which meets every week on agri-commodities, and we closely monitor it. The buffer stock of pulses, I know, I think it was the member of Congress from Punjab who spoke, Amar Singh ji, I think, he spoke about the buffer stock concerns. I just want to say the buffer stock of pulses has been maintained for price stabilization in 2020-21, 21-22, 22-23, and calibrated release of pulses from the buffer stock will moderate the price of pulses in the market. The import duty on masoor was brought down to 0% with effect from 26th July 2021, and that continues. And central government on 1st September 2022 decided to provide 1.5 million tons of chana to states and union territories at a discounted rate for distribution under various welfare schemes. The central government, of course, has central government on May 21st, 2022, cut the excise duty by 8 rupees on petrol and 6 per litre on diesel by cutting down the road and infrastructure cess. And due to all these policies, sir, and the steps taken, I'm glad to say we've just not been talking, we are acting. The latest data on CPI proves it. Inflation has come, and it is now come down, and it is now in the tolerable band of the RBI. Inflation has been declining since April 2022, and it is declining further. CPI for November 2022 came down to 5.88% year on year, down from 6.77 in October. So I want that taken cognizance of. It's a bit difficult when parties raise question on inflation who saw double-digit inflation during the period. And that's not something which I'm imagining, sir. I'd just like to say the inflation data in November of 2013 was at 19.93%. And the earlier month in October, it was 18.19%. And when record was like this, to ask us who have worked to bring the inflation down from 6.77 in October to 5.88 in November, here the same time, 19.93 in November, October 18.19 in 2013. Now, if they are asking us to bring it down further, we'll bring it down further for common people's sake. But can they ask us? 18 and 19% inflation?
डबल डिजिट रहा आपका
Don't go for peak and it is selective.
अरे 2-3 साल तक रहा डबल डिजिट
8.94.
सर, आज दोपहर 12 बजे के करीब WPI नंबर्स आया है, वो भी देखने लायक है सर. WPI इन्फ्लेशन comes to 21 months में सबसे लोएस्ट में आया है. 5.85% year on year, November 22. WPI inflation was 8.39% in October, whereas in November it's 5.85%. Food inflation, sir. Food inflation is at 2.17% versus 6.48 month on month. So inflation management or inflation control, Prime Minister Modi and his group of ministers and officers are constantly watching and taking periodic intervention measures. As a result, you find the results coming here. Sir, the other main issue on which many members spoke was about the depreciation of the Indian rupee. Depreciation of Indian rupee, and they kept mocking at me, saying, oh, no, you don't understand. Your rupee is not weakening. It is a matter of fact. Every report has told you that Indian rupee against every other currency has only strengthened.
Yes.
And against the dollar, we have performed much better than many other emerging market economies. I will detail out the information. So, if you have patience, sir, kindly, I seek your indulgence so that I can read the numbers out for members to benefit from. It is not off the cuff that I keep saying things. It is a truth about the Indian rupee, and that has to be appreciated rather than, oh, no, Indian rupee is this, oh, no, Indian rupee is that. Sir, Indian rupee, movement of all currencies of various emerging markets against the US dollar. Sir, movement of currencies of various emerging market, and I'll read India also, emerging market economies against the US dollar. And this is over a period April 1st to 30th November 2022. This year, this financial year. Sir, Turkish lira, 21.2% depreciation against the US dollar. Japanese yen, 11.9% depreciation against the US dollar. South African rand, 15.1% against the dollar. Chinese renminbi, 10.6% against the dollar depreciation. Indonesian rupiah, 8.75% depreciation against the US dollar. Brazilian real, 8.7%. Filipino peso, 8.5%.
We are fifth largest economy.
I'm coming, sir.
On hand, you are boasting of India is a fifth largest economy.
South Korean won, 8.1%. Taiwanese dollar, 7.3% depreciation. Indian rupees, 6.9% only, compared to the rest of it. Thai baht, only. Only Thai baht 5.7% and Malaysian ringgit 5.4%. So I want to talk about emerging markets is what I'm giving. We'll talk about the rest as well. But even this, when I'm giving data from the RBI, no, we are not willing to accept. I'm not giving my data. It is given by the RBI. Now, rupee movement against other currencies. Yes, I'm coming. The size of the appreciation. The size of Indian rupees appreciation during April-November 2022, sir, compared to April-November 2021 was 15.3% with respect to Japanese yen, 7.6% compared to the pound sterling, and 7.5% with respect to the euro. Sir, pound, euro, wo bhi aa gaya, sir. So, as regards currency, and I'm not taking a random 1 month, sir, April 1st, 2022-23, this financial year's beginning, and data given is up to November. And this is Reserve Bank data and not mine. Sir, there was this question, and I think it was it's about the asset quality review, NPAs. Quite a few members did speak about it. I just want to show that after undertaking the asset quality review in 2015, of course, we followed the 4R principle of getting the banks back to order and restoring the health. The 4 R's were to recognize that there is a problem with an account and recognize there's a problem totally put together for the bank for the number of NPAs that is there in their balance sheet, and therefore then to recapitalize them and help the recovery process, and then reform the bank itself so that it doesn't function on phone banking. You know, kahin se phone aa gaya, mera damad ko do, mera bhatija ko do, wo sab nahi hone dena. Wo reform we have undertaken after 2015. As a result, immediately after undertaking the asset quality review in 2015, नहीं आपके इसीलिए उनके आपके कार्यकाल में वो पैसा दिया गया, हम उनको पकड़ करके पैसा वापस ले आ रहे हैं। रिश्तेदार आपका है, आपके रिश्तेदार है, आपके रिश्तेदार है, हमारा नहीं। आपने दिया, उसको हमने वापस पकड़ कर ले आ रहे। So, AQR, asset quality review. Sir, asset quality review 2015 में शुरू हुआ। उसके तुरंत बाद लगातार NPA का recognition होते रहा, and as a result, between 15, 16 and 17, numbers of NPAs were increasing. This became an NPA, that became an NPA. Recognition of accounts which were becoming NPA were all under the asset quality review happening. As a result, in 2015, the gross NPA ratio was at 4.97%, which became 9.27%. It even went up to 11.66% in 2017. But after that, because of the action taken by Prime Minister Modi's government, the number started coming down. it became, in 2018, it reached a peak of 14.58%, sir. But after that, 11.59.
क्या प्रॉब्लम है आपके यहाँ?
जैसे आप राइट ऑफ करते ही नहीं थे। जैसे आप करते ही नहीं थे।
समझाओ।
आप करते ही नहीं
प्लीज।
थे। आप करते ही नहीं थे। आपने करा ही नहीं क्या? आपने
आप कोई जवाब मत दो, माननीय मंत्री जी जवाब दे रहे हैं।
2019, sir. 2019, sir, the number started coming down, 11.59%. Then it became 10.25%. Then it became 9.11% in 21. In 22, as of March 22, it is 7.28% only. So the gross NPA numbers are coming down drastically. Not only that, we are pursuing every NPA account, which even if they are there in this country or anywhere else, and making sure that their assets are auctioned through the court process and banks are getting the money back. So NPA handling, we have handled much better, is what I want to tell you. So then capital expenditure was a concern. I want to state the facts. We, in both the budgets in 21-22 and 22-23 budget, we have 21-22 budget, we have given a capital outlay which was improved in the 22-23 budget to 7.5 lakh crores. Now we have achieved at least nearly 45% of it. On the BE, 54.5% has been touched in the first half year. There were also a provision given for state assistance, special assistance to the state for capital expenditure, which was a 50-year kind of a loan without interest for states so that they can spend on capital assets. I'm glad to say that even there, nearly 74% has been Nearly 74% has been utilized by the states. Yes, I can give you that figure exactly. So 76,268.31 crores have received approval. That special assistance which was given for capital expenditure for states without interest for 50 years, 76,268 has received approval. The others will be considered in the near future. So I'm confident that that 1 lakh crore will be utilized by all the states for capital expenditure at their, in their list of priorities. So I remember Member Shashi Tharoor speaking about this country, particularly Kerala, has a lot of fishermen. Nothing is happening about them. So I would like to differ. Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana is a scheme through which 20,000 crores for 5-year period has been given. And this is already on course. States have started giving proposals. And in this, how traditional fishermen, small fishermen, and their concerns are being taken care of by this government is better, very well explained by two things. One, I will quote Minister Rupala's tweets. I don't know if he's here. He came up with complete details of how small fishermen and fishermen are benefiting from the government schemes. Those tweets are there for me. I will re-quote them. Other than that, the extent to which in the World Trade Organization, our Commerce Minister has been literally fighting for the rights of traditional small fishermen against this unlicensed, unreported, illegal fishing with deep trawlers coming to our sea coast. So in both international forums and in the domestic, the way in which we are taking the fishermen's cause to give them KCC card, to give them greater bank assistance and so on, I just would come up with what Minister Rupala has said. Sir, 1950-51, before I quote Minister Rupala, 1950-51, the total production of inland fisheries and aquaculture was at 2.18 lakh tons, which increased to 61.36 lakh tons in 13-14, which took about 65 years, but never mind, it took 65 years, we were able to reach 61.36 lakh tons. But I'm happy to say that India has achieved 121.21 lakh tons of total production in 21-22, double than what it was in 2014. Data speaks for itself, sir. So without government intervention, this kind of support and production wouldn't happen. But however, now I say, this is a tweet from Purushottam Rupala, the minister. He said this, that I'm happy to state that India achieved 121.21 lakh tons of total production in 21-22, double than in 2014. That was one quote. He also said, we have extended the benefit of Kisan credit card to fishermen and workforce involved in animal husbandry and in dairying, which was earlier available only to farmers. So 25.81 lakh Kisan credit cards have been sanctioned to animal husbandry. This data is as of December 2022. Yes. Animal husbandry, dairy, fishery farmers, and a credit limit of 21,322 crores has been given for fishermen, animal husbandry, and for farmers. Sir, Matsya Sampada Yojana, under the PMMSY, over a span of 5 years, sir, 2020 to 2025, investment worth 20,050 crore have been envisaged for the fisheries, which sector happens to be the highest ever investment. Fisheries sector happens to get the highest ever investment till date in this sector. Then, sir, projects to the tune of 11,029.36 crores has been achieved and has been sanctioned, with a few which will generate lakhs of employment in opportunity. So that is about fisheries, what we are doing.
सभी माननीय सदस्यों को ये जानकारी होनी चाहिए। आप माननीय मंत्री जी की जगह आप स्पीकर जब अलाउ करेंगे ना, जब मंत्री जी जवाब देंगे। ये
मत्स्यकारों को कुछ नहीं मिला, बोले जवाब नहीं मिला। पुरुषोत्तम रूपाला जी के द्वारा ही मिल गया, फिर भी पूछे प्रश्न।
20,000 करोड़ दिया।
हाँ, sir, there was this question that I'm not sure if the honorable member Hanuman Beniwal ji is here, but he raised this issue, saying बहुत सारे सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट का स्कीम्स को आपने खत्म कर दिया रूरल में वगैरह। So I just want to say, sir, it's not being said now, and I'll be happy to show the reference in the expenditure profile, which is given along with the budget. Expenditure profile document, which is always given along with the budget statement. On 1st February 2022, a statement 4AA was given, which very clearly shows that the schemes have not been closed down, as stated by the honourable member. Instead, they have been rationalized in order to make them more focused and to bring administrative efficiency. This is a recommendation of the 14th and the 15th Finance Commission, and that is exactly what we have followed. So, I'm just showing what was given during the budget statement, sir, expenditure profile. Just to explain my point, I want to say, take for example, Department of Agriculture, Information Technology related, Integrated Scheme for Agriculture Census and Statistics, Integrated Scheme for Agriculture Marketing. Like that, there are 10 schemes. They've all been rationalized to come under Krishi Unnati Yojana. They've not been closed down. They've all just been made into sharp focus under one. Similarly, Pradhan Mantri Krishi Sinchai Yojana, Soil Health and Fertility National Project, Krishi Vikas Yojana, Rashtriya Krishi Vikas Yojana, Rainfed Area Development and Climate Change. Again, a series of 10 of these programs have come under Rashtriya Krishi Vikas Yojana. Like that, 130 schemes, all of which are here, they've all been listed out in the expenditure profile. 130 schemes are now clubbed together into 65 schemes, and none of them have been shut. कोई बंद नहीं हुआ. 103 schemes अभी 65 schemes में ही कंडेंस किया गया है. उसका लिस्ट मैं अब नहीं दे रही हूँ, बजट के समय ही दे चुकी हूँ. 1 February 2022 का बजट में. सो हनुमान बेनीवाल जी को प्लीज इस इंफॉर्मेशन पहुंचाइए. हमने किसी स्कीम को बंद नहीं किया. ऊपर से उनका ज्यादा फोकस के लिए नाम भी नहीं है बदला सर. Sir, there was this concern about fellowships for minority community. Sir, if you don't mind, दानिश अली जी, आप जरा सुनिए ना, आपके विषय में आ रही हूँ. So Maulana Azad scholarships for minorities has been discontinued. Was a question which many members, honourable members, raised. I just want to underline what the position is, sir. There are several schemes which cover many SCs, STs, OBCs, minorities, and so on. The Maulana Azad National Fellowship Scheme was overlapping with many of the above said schemes. I have not read it out. The list is there, the schemes, where it was overlapping. So all the existing candidates, I just want to repeat this, sir, all the existing candidates under the Maulana Azad National Fellowship Scheme as of 31st March 2022 will continue to receive their fellowship till the end of their tenure. So किसी का बंद नहीं हो रही है. जिनको 31st March, अरे 31/3/2022 तक जिनको उनको मिल रहा है. Further, Canara Bank has been the implementing agency for the scheme, and they have been directed to send an email to each and existing eligible beneficiary that they will continue to get these benefits, dues or subjects to the compliance to the extent guidelines. So on that, sir, let us be clear. Sir, there's also this issue which has been raised on the PM Kisan and doubling of farmers' income. Yes. Questions have been raised, sir, on that. I just want to underline that unprecedented enhancement in budget allocation has happened. Agriculture Minister is sitting next to me. I will certainly get corrected if I'm wrong. In the year 2015-16, the budget allocation for Ministry of Agriculture and Farmer Welfare was only 25,460 crores. Whereas this year, it has increased. This time, it has increased by more than 5.44%. And the total amount, which in 2015 was only 25,000 crores, now it is 1,38,550.93 crores. That is the budget estimate.
हमारे हिंदुस्तान के प्रधानमंत्री कहते कि तपस्या में कुछ काम नहीं बनेगा, आंदोलन खत्म हुई।
सर, इनकम सपोर्ट किसानों के लिए आए, इनकम सपोर्ट was launched in 2019. The PM Kisan Samman Nidhi was launched in 2019 for an income support to be provided 6,000 rupees per year in 3 equal installments. More than 2 lakh crores has been released so far to all the farmers. Sir, institutional credit for agriculture sector. Benefit for concessional institutional credit through Kisan credit card at 4% interest per annum. Sirf 4% interest per annum is now extended to animal husbandry, fisheries farmers, and also for meeting their short-term credit requirements. Special drive, and I know for this for sure, banks undertook a special drive in February 2020 to provide concessional institutional credit with focus on covering all the PM Kisan beneficiaries through Kisan credit card. As on 11/11/2022, 376.97 lakh new KCC applications have been sanctioned with a sanctioned credit limit of 4,33,426 crores. Sir, minimum support price, on which a lot of questions. I want to just come and before I do that, sir,
मोदी जी की तपस्या 2014 जवाब दो भाई।
Sir, I'm just taking my data out, sir.
किसानों को पता है 2006 में रिपोर्ट लगातार तब कर रहे हैं वो। किसान यहाँ तक आ रहे थे ना 2006 में रिपोर्ट आई थी ना, तब क्या कर रहे थे? तब किसान यहाँ तक आ रहा था। वो याद नहीं करेंगे ना, वो याद नहीं करेंगे, किसान तब नहीं याद है। सदस्य
आपस में चर्चा न करें और माननीय
State Bank of India,
आप भी
State Bank of India study has very clearly said that farmers' income is doubling on very many scores, such as soya farmers and others. Their income is doubling, and when plantation crops are being sowed, farmers benefit. Also, on the minimum support price, government has increased the MSP for all mandated Kharif and Rabi crops and other commercial crops as well, with a return of at least 50% over all India weighted average cost of production from 2018-19, sir. So on MSP, I know the minister next to me has been working a lot, and we are now giving 50% over the weighted average cost of production since 2018-19. Paddy MSP for common paddy, sir, it has increased to 2040 per quintal in 2022-23, and it has risen from, it has increased from 1,310, which was the amount in 2013-14. Again, 2014, input cost. Sir, when inflation was double-digit in 2013-14, you can imagine what was the input cost. Even then, they gave only this much. MSP for wheat was 1,400 per quintal in 13-14. It went to 2,125 per quintal in 2022-23, sir. So I'm almost coming to the end of the responses. There are one or two points which are very, very important, which I want to highlight. There was this concern for BSNL, sir. Quite a few members had voiced concern for BSNL and the money is being given to them. I just want to highlight, sir.
Madam, please. Madam, I have highlighted before it. Please elaborate on it.
अभी बताएंगे अभी सुनो एक-एक आ रहा है एक-एक आपका पूरा क्लियर करेंगे बैठो
Sir, the supplementary demand, which is now on the table of the House, for BSNL, the supplementary demand requires 18,127 crores for viability gap funding for BSNL for the rural wireline operations. So we are giving 18,000 subject to House approving, 18,127. 49.37 crore for champion sector schemes of BSNL. Also for research and development, 130 crores. All this is part of this supplementary demand. Further, 30,156 crore allocation for 900 megahertz spectrum, again for BSNL. Equity infusion into BSNL for capital expenditure, 3,013 crore. And restructuring of MTNL, 1,600 crores. And also reissue of 9% non-cumulative preferential shares for 7,500 crores. All these put together, of course, there are some token allocations being made from one head to another within the telecommunications heads. All this put together, BSNL gets 60,575. And there was an honorable member who told me and reminded me, you went abroad and said, we will, if necessary, give 5G to all or whoever wants it, give something for the BSNL. This supplementary demand gives this much, 60,000 for BSNL, for these specific heads. So, and this is stated. I only wish the honorable member saw what was the demand for grants which is on this table now. Therefore, you will give everything for the world, not anything for our BSNL. No, we are giving for BSNL also. And sir, therefore,
आप अधीर रंजन जी की टक्कर में मत आओ, बैठ जाओ.
Sir, because Manya Speaker, sir, now because people will want to get into details of we are letting down BSNL, you have not done this for BSNL. These are people who are asking us questions who did not even give money for BSNL 4G. Professor is asking me today, BSNL ko. Sir, capital approval in 2019-20 budget, Prime Minister Modi coming back to power, first thing he did was to bring in 54,021 crore. And for what? For BSNL. And for what? Because in 2019-20, sir, pensionary benefits wanted 12,768 crore. Ex gratia given 17,169 crore. Capital infusion for 4G spectrum, which did not happen during UPA time. They denied it. BSNL was on the verge of death. Prime Minister Modi revived it by giving capital infusion for 4G spectrum for BSNL, 20,410 crores. Grant for GST-related matters, 3,674. So in 2019-20, 54,000 crores was given for BSNL. Now through this supplementary demand for grants, I am giving 60,575 for BSNL. BSNL gets its due recognition and infusion of monies, which was denied over a period. In fact, at one night, overnight, MTNL was asked to pay for something, after which a cash-rich company became cash negative. And that was UPA government's attention for both BSNL and MTNL. So, Adhir Ranjan ji should be informed about it, sir.
I am well informed.
So,
You should learn from the past experiences.
yes, from your mistakes. We should learn from your mistakes. Sir,
BSNL आप इस्तेमाल करते हो क्या? नहीं करते क्योंकि सिग्नल नहीं आते। ये हालत हो गई यार। BSNL गरीब लोगों के लिए और बाकी सारे एलिट लोगों के लिए।
लूटने वाले काम को छोड़ करके
माननीय मंत्री
कर रहे हैं।
BSNL ने कितने लोगों को नौकरी दिया?
लूटने वाले के साथ बैठे हो।
अरे जियो किसने दिया? जियो
लूट रहे।
जियो किसने दिया? सारे स्पेक्ट्रम किसने दिया? किसको दिया? अब BSNL MTNL को मिला है सुविधा।
sir, about 4G and 5G related matter on the BSNL, sir. In July 2022, the government approved a revival package for BSNL amounting to 1.64 lakh crores. So BSNL gets its funds and the entire 4G stack, financial support by giving financial support for capex for BSNL. It means that we are making BSNL deploy Atmanirbhar 4G technology, and the 4G technology stack, that itself, the projected capital expenditure for BSNL for the next 4 years, government will fund capex to the extent of 22,471 crores for BSNL only, so that their capital infrastructure spending will be good, and this will be a big boost for development and deployment of Atmanirbhar 4G technology, which of course is going to be the foundation on which 5G will get built up. You didn't do 4G, we are doing 4G, and therefore we are giving all the necessary fundamental infrastructure for it. आपने पैसा नहीं दिया ना, इसीलिए नहीं था।
2G में क्या किया? 2G में क्या किया? 2G में लूट लिया। 2G में लूट लिया।
सर, अंतिम पॉइंट सर, खत्म कर रही हूँ बिल्कुल।
रेपो रेट बताएंगे।
हो गया, सब बता दिया। Sir, talking about macroeconomy, economic fundamentals, and so on, Honorable Member Mahua Moitra said about where one should find Pappu, who's the Pappu, where's the Pappu, and so on. Actually, either West Bengal in the... Sorry? So, all the fundamental macroeconomic fundamentals being questioned. There was this question of where is the Pappu, who's the Pappu, who's the Pappu. Actually, if only Honorable Member looks back into her own backyard, she'll find Pappu in West Bengal. So there's no doubt, where there are wonderful schemes which can benefit common people, West Bengal sits over it, doesn't distribute it. You don't need to search anywhere else for Pappu. But even worse, sir, even worse is this point. Matches किसके हाथ में है? This is really, I don't want to elaborate too much on it because it probably just wanted to spice the questions and the issues she raised, about which I think in different ways I've tried answering. But it's a matter of concern, sir, because kisne diya matches is not the issue, because democracy, people elect the leader and give it to the concerned. We don't need to undermine the people by saying, kisne diya inke haath mein? Janta ne diya matches. बट किसके हाथ में मैचेस कैसे उपयोग में आता है वही है इंपॉर्टेंट। मैचेस किसके हाथ में कैसे उपयोग में आया। Recently, you had, at least BJP, had a fantastic victory in Gujarat. Post-election, sir, what was the environment there? Peacefully, the new government came to power, was sworn in. Whereas compare it with what happened in West Bengal post the state government election, marches किसके हाथ में कैसे उपयोग में आया, कैसे उपयोग में आया, वो है प्रश्न वो है।
पूरा बंगाल को दिला दिया इन्होंने, माचिस किसके हाथ में?
हमारे हाथ में जब माचिस थी, हमने उज्ज्वला दिया, हमने उजाला दिया, हमने पीएम किसान दिया, हमने स्वच्छ भारत अभियान चलाए। जब आपके हाथ में आया माचिस, आर्सन हुआ, लूटिंग हुआ, रेप हुआ, हमारे कार्यकर्ता के घर जला दिया, और ऊपर से एक केंद्र मंत्री एमओएस मुरलीधरन, उनके गाड़ी के ऊपर इतना अटैक हुआ, सेंट्रल मंत्री तक सेफ नहीं था पोस्ट इलेक्शन। सो मैचेस जेपी नड्डा जी के गाड़ी तो कैंपेन के दौरान, मुरली जी के गाड़ी, एमओएस के गाड़ी पोस्ट इलेक्शन। सो मैचेस किसके हाथ में कैसे काम आया वो हम समझना चाहिए सर, ऐसे नहीं है बात। सर लास्टली सर, क्योंकि लीडर ऑफ ऑपोजिशन सर आदिर जी बात करते हैं रिपो रेट, मैं तो मेरा कर्तव्य सर लीडर को जवाब देना, उससे मैं बंद करती हूँ मेरा। सॉरी मेरा गलती है सर, सॉरी। लीडर ऑफ द ऑपोजिशन नहीं है, मगर आदिर रंजन जी हमारे लीडर है, इसीलिए सर रिपो रेट बहुत हाई है, इट इज इम्पैक्टिंग डिफरेंट सेक्शंस ऑफ द सोसाइटी, ये है उनकी कंसर्न। और उसके सामने उससे पहले ये भी बताया गया इंडिया इज विटनेसिंग स्टैगफ्लेशन। मैं बहुत ही हम्बली सबमिट करना चाह रही हूँ सर, लीडर है, बहुत वरिष्ठ है, कांग्रेस पार्टी के सीनियर लीडर है, और बंगाल में बहुत ही बड़ा है। सो आई हम्बली वांट टू सबमिट सर, हम्बली वांट टू से सर, स्टैगफ्लेशन होता है जब इकोनॉमी में स्लो डाउन है और हाई इन्फ्लेशन भी है, वो है स्टैगफ्लेशन। भारत में आज डेटा आया, कल भी डेटा आया, मैंने बोल रही हूँ सीपीआई 5.88 के नीचे आ गया है, डब्ल्यूपीआई तो 21 मंथ्स में सबसे कम में आ गया है। सो इन्फ्लेशन हाई नहीं है, वो एक बात है। सेकंड, स्लो डाउन नहीं है भैया, पूरे हमारे देश फास्टेस्ट ग्रोइंग इकोनॉमी है सर, कैसे स्लो डाउन? सो स्टैगफ्लेशन के बाद जो आदिर जी उठाया वो बिल्कुल सही नहीं है। फास्टेस्ट ग्रोइंग, नो इन्फ्लेशन, लोअर इन्फ्लेशन विद इन द फोरबेरेंस लिमिट इन्फ्लेशन। सो ये एक स्पष्टीकरण देना चाहती हूँ। लास्ट में सर रेपो रेट, उसके बारे में बहुत प्रश्न पूछ रहे हैं। रेपो रेट हैज बीन वेरी हाई, हिस्टोरिकली हाई ड्यूरिंग यूपीए 1 एंड यूपीए 2, ये हम रिकॉग्नाइज। हाँ, नहीं, मेरा जमाना के बात ही कर रही हूँ, सुन लो, सुनिए। सर हाँ जरूर, क्यों नहीं, आप सर आदिर जी 1 मिनट पहले हमसे ये बात बोले कि आप सीख लेना चाहिए, उनसे मैं सीख रही हूँ सर। और उनके रेपो रेट 8% था ड्यूरिंग 2014, अभी 6.25% है सर रेपो रेट, तब तो 8% था, अभी 6.25 है। 28% higher rates were there during UPA. दूसरा, home loan rates were 10% today, whereas it was उनके समय पर, today it is only 8.40. Repo rate के ऊपर चिंता ना करें आदिर जी।
आपकी सारे मेंबर चिंता
ठीक
कर
है
रही है
सर, नहीं उसका जवाब मैं दे चुके
कि जो लोग जिन्होंने फजिल नहीं करते
सर।
उनको इसके बारे में जरूर चिंता करते हैं। आप किसी बाहर वाले को बेकार छोटे मध्यम उद्योगपति को पूछ लीजिए, छोटे छोटे बैंक से जो लोन लेके काम करता है पूछ लीजिए, कोई सरकार जिन्होंने अपना मकान बनाया बैंक से उधार करके पूछ लीजिए।
ठीक है सर। लास्ट वन लाइन सर, चाइना के साथ हमारे ट्रेड डेफिसिट के ऊपर बहुत सारे लोग चिंता जताए, उसमें मैं बात बोलना चाहिए। ट्रेड डेफिसिट चाइना के साथ 2004-05 में 1.48 बिलियन ही था और वो 2013-14 के अंदर 36.21 बिलियन US डॉलर्स हुआ, विच इज 2000% से ज्यादा इंक्रीज हुआ तक। मगर अब trade deficit with China has only increased by about 100%, which is 73.31 billion in 21-22. इसीलिए ट्रेड डेफिसिट चाइना के खिलाफ का वाले बात भी मैं डेटा के साथ आपके सामने ही रखना चाह रही हूँ। मुझे जवाब देने के लिए मौका दिया, धन्यवाद।